Hello and welcome to another World Tanks video. In this one is a tank company battle. We are fielding a lot of KV2s, a few other stuff, and a random guy in a SU-85 to fill up the numbers. We are against 2 ARLs, 2 KV1 SS, and a KV2, a Hellcat, and 2 VKs, and 3 grills. Tank companies seem to, or the people playing them seem to favor KV1Ss quite a lot. You tend to get companies consisting primarily of them. We've been trying some different things. Here we are trying out KV2, so, with primarily the 107mm gun. Now, why that gun and not the dub gun? Well, it's more reliable. The dub gun has a habit of doing anything, anywhere from like 10 damage to one-shotting people. This gun, well, if you know where to shoot, it does rather well. As you can see, penetrates the turret of the ARL. Now, the reason we were trying KV2s instead of the T150s, which also can have the 107mm gun, is KV2 has a very high turret. The T150 doesn't. As a result, with the KV2 you can poke out of corners while still keeping your hull primarily behind cover. Since the turret is generally a bit stronger, since you tend to have a armor plating by the gun and such. It doesn't work as well as you would expect, but it works rather well, as you will end up seeing. We have one KV2 with the dub gun, as you can see behind here. But KV2 tactic, the composition seemed to work rather well. At the least it is a bit of a different flavor from the normal blobs of KV1Ss. It gets a bit boring and stale using just the same all the time. Now those guys we are attacking, they're doing the main mistake that people on this map tend to do. They go down the hill there to defend. If you want to defend, you should stay on top of the hill. It's a lot easier to defend since the enemy has to come to you then. Because while they're down there, artillery generally can hit them. That's not really the case in this battle though, since we're not artillery focused. But by putting themselves down there, they put themselves at a disadvantage, since they're not really putting their position to any use whatsoever. So we're just going to have a shootout here for a little while, slowly grinding them down. Now I'm going to be moving up here, and as you will end up seeing, the way I'm driving is so that if someone pokes out, I can instantly turn left and basically put myself at a 45-degree angle. In most cases they will end up shooting off my tracks, and if they shoot off my tracks then aren't doing any damage to me, which is something that's always good. And I missed that one. Also in case they've all started backing up there, but it's a bit too late for that. Artillery can hit us here now, but we need to push a little bit, so that guy actually managed to miss me. And the grill hit me, which was to be expected. As you can see, it bounces off my turret. KVs are a bit slow, but we're getting up there, slowly up this hill. He ended up shooting AG at me, which is a bit surprising to see in tank companies, to see someone shoot AG rounds. especially in a tank like the ARL. I mean, you have 212mm penetration. That's quite a lot. The Hellcat penetrates me. I managed to just miss him. He goes a tiny bit over the stop. So penetrating me again. Shoot him straight through his gun mantlet. Now it's just us two left here. As you can see, most of those shots that you can see that looks like they penetrated the thing, they're basically shot there. Most of them haven't done any damage. Just 3 of them have. I don't want to go up and meet him, so I can just get a shot off on him. And he ends up shooting the ground, so what I'm doing now is just waiting a bit, make sure that artillery can't no longer have any eyes on me. The other last heavy was last spotted around the C4 line, so I know I'm fairly safe from him, but can artillery spot me before I spot them? That's the big question right now. A KV tank isn't particularly known for its spotting range. It's a big, slow, heavy, mobile brick, basically. So we know there's some artillery over on the B9 line. What I'm doing is I'm moving into the trees before I aim to shoot, and just blind shoot because I know he was there in the area. And the reason for moving into the trees is trees reduce enemy spotting range. A lot of people tend to just drive them down, but they do give cover. Not as good as bushes, but there's a lot more trees than there are bushes, so if you have a lot of trees between you, and even better, a few trees in a bush, you are very hard to spot even when you're shooting and moving. Now the enemy heavy went to our base, so I know I'm pretty safe from him. So I'm going to try and hunt down the last artillery. And I spot him just at the end after he's missed me, and boom, he's down. And there's just that heavy left, which is playing peekaboo with our artillery, driving around in circles. Speed it a little bit up. The enemy KV1 finally destroys our artillery. I was contemplating whether I would want to stand far in front there or if I would stand behind here. I decided at the end to stand further behind here, as the other guy would have to come further up in order to be able to see me, which should enable me to get a shot off before he is able to shoot me. That was the theory, at least. We end up winning very marginally in this fight. The enemy KV1S was a one-shot. So I'm confident I would have been able to shoot him if he had come. It's quite a fun company battle. It's probably the closest one we have had in this tier range. We haven't played this tier range so much. We usually play the higher ones or the lower ones with a bunch of T-82s. That's quite hilarious. Might be bringing you some of that in a while. We will see if I can get any good footage. Until then, see you next time.